Jawgust is back once again. Jaws is 50, so I thought, my friends, for you to come with me as I go back to Amity. A 31-day podcast, talking 4 minutes of Jaws each day. It will be another month-long show for me, and I hope to see you there, 'cause Jawgust is back again.
She gone. That right there is a direct quote from my best buddy's granddaughter. Yes, I'm admitting it, that we're at the age where we can be grandparents, young, cool, hip grandparents. Not me, him. I guess I'm calling him young, hip, and cool. That's fine. But grandparents nonetheless. And he showed his grandchild Jaws, and when Chrissie was eaten, or the multiple times he's shown it to her, she says, she's gone, or she gone. I don't know exactly which one it is. I'll say either one. And it's a stark contrast to when he and I showed his daughter, the mother of this child, The Exorcist, I would say about 20 years ago. And she played it cool. She played it cool when we watched The Exorcist. And I was like, this is totally not a bad idea. And I think then they went home that night and the girl couldn't sleep for a while. And thankfully, Dad took the blame, not Dad's friend. I had nothing. I was just an innocent bystander watching The Exorcist. And thankfully, with his granddaughter watching Jaws, none of that issue. There's no, like, this girl is completely into it, and she's, I think she's sad that Chrissie's gone, Chrissie's eaten, but it doesn't affect her, I think, personally or emotionally. It affected me. It affected me many times. It affects me every time I watch this movie. Yes, you know that in truth, there was a rope tied to her, tugging her pretty harshly, the stunt woman, the actress, but the thought of the unknown, that is the scariest part of being in water and not seeing where you are. I grew up going to the beach, constantly going in the ocean. The thought of Jaws has always been there in the back of my mind. The thought of this movie, the thought of sharks. The closest I've ever seen were like bluefish that came out one season. But at the same time, I never went swimming like Chrissie goes swimming, like people in this movie go swimming. I've never been, I don't know if I've ever been in the ocean above my head ever. I might have come close. I remember same friend and my brother and a couple other guys took this raft really far out, and my brother is 6'5", and I think even in high school he was 6'5". So he jumped in to the ocean and went above his head, and I was on the shore. I was like, no way am I doing this. It freaked me out. I was like, cool, I'm glad everything's fine. Everyone got out fine. But that stuff I couldn't do. I was a kid that I would go, if I went into a pool alone. I remember being at our friend's house and no one else wanted to go swimming, and I'm swimming, and my parents, they're on the deck, they're watching, everything's fine. You know, I'm not like unsupervised, but I am in the pool alone. So I would jump in, hit the water, and I would immediately race to the other side, because just the thought of there could be something that comes in through the drain. I don't know. This movie has this visceral effect that sticks with people forever, not just swimming in oceans, not just swimming in ponds, not just swimming in lakes, but in pools. I mean, it just changed the way people interacted with water forever. I'm thinking ponds and lakes, like we'd go up to this lake in New Hampshire when my in-laws lived on Lake Winnipesaukee, and I would swim out there, and my only, like, I'm a grown adult at this point, well into my 30s, and I'm thinking to myself, there aren't sharks in these waters, so I'm fine. But I always think there are snapping turtles and there are fish, but I would swim well out over my head in the lake. And then same friends had a house on a pond. There was a nice pond, swim over that. But I think they did tell me about snapping turtles. I would go pretty deep in that water too. I always wore those water shoes though. But again, no sharks. I will never, and I have never gone into the ocean above my head. I'll go up to my waist. I'll ride those waves in. But no. Chrissie, you are a brave woman, but your bravado ultimately turned you into an appetizer to a very, very hungry shark. Now, August 1st, last night, I got the show out. I didn't finish it well past 10, like 10:30 or something like that. I feel like, or maybe I was recording well into the evening. Whereas this morning, August 2nd, guys, it's 7:09 a.m. as I'm speaking to you right now. And, you know, I love being a morning person. There's the New England accent. I love being a morning. How do I say it? Morning. I say morning. Good morning. I don't say morning. I don't say morning. I say good morning. Crap, now I forgot how to talk. Anyway, I love having long days and being woken up, or I love waking up early. I don't love being woken up early. But that is the life I live for the last at least year or so. My dog likes to wake me up very early, around 5, sometimes earlier. I do not want to walk her or take her out until 5 a.m. at least. Today we made it till 20 past 5. Took her out. It was already light out, so that helps. Took her out and came back, and I was like, I'm going to relax. Wait a second. I want to watch more Jaws. And I thought, let's get the show out early. But to get a show out early in the morning, when you're woken up after only getting a few hours of sleep, let's be honest, I don't think I fell asleep till close to midnight. And then I woke up at 5 something. That's not what do they tell you? Everyone needs a good 13 to 14 hours of sleep or something like that. Well, I didn't get that. But to make up for it, I enjoy a nice cup of coffee. So before I get any more into Jaws, I want to tell you a little story. A few months ago, I got a message sent to me from a guy named Judah on Instagram who has listened to one of my other shows. I do a Star Wars podcast, and he was a listener of that show, and he actually made a music, like a beat, as the kids call it, a musical beat. I am hip. And he made one for my Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which of course was called Obi-Pod Kenobi, for that TV show on Disney Plus. And he's been a listener of the show for a while, and he reached out to me in May. And I'm going to tell you what he said. He says, "Do you and your wife like coffee?" Do we? Well, apparently this guy, Judah, his parents own a coffee shop. And he said, "Hey, would you like to have some coffee beans?" I said, "I like coffee. What's a coffee bean? I don't understand. What do you do? Do you peel it and get the coffee? You drink the coffee out of it?" He says, "No, you grind it." I was like, this is incredible. So this guy, Judah, he and his parents, yes, that's right. You've never heard anything like this in Geek Mentality before, but I have to give this guy a shout out. He sent me a bag of coffee, and apparently I have a coffee grinder. Who knew? I ground that coffee up into what looks like, to me, I thought that's how coffee came. Like it came like that brown ground. I almost called it powder. That's not quite right. And then you add the hot water. I'm not going to explain, like, this isn't rocket science. It's coffee science. Anyway, I am rambling, but if you've ever listened to any of these podcasts, you know that happens. This guy sent me a bag of his coffee beans the other day. I ground that up. I put it into my coffee pot, my coffee maker, and I make a coffee. And I'm literally, I don't know if you hear it. Yes. I had it hot the other day. I'm having it iced right now. I'm mostly a big iced coffee guy. And guess what? I'm drinking this coffee black. Now, I'm slamming my cup down, and you're saying to yourself, that's how coffee should be drunk. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to coffee. I'm like, oh, that coffee's good. Now let me load it with cinnamon cream and have a nice sweet coffee. My wife loves it black. And I'm like, you drink your coffee black? That's crazy. But I also admire it because I think it's a much cooler thing. And I am drinking this coffee black right now, and it is fueling me for more Jawgust. Now you're saying to yourself, Michael, what the hell coffee is this talking about? Well, in the show notes, there's a link to the Ember Coffee Company, okay? embercoffee.co. That is the maker of this coffee. That they're not paying me to do this. They sent me a bag and said, hey, we want to send you this bag. Maybe if you like it, you can give a shout out to the show. Well, how could I not give a shout out to a coffee to someone who's been a listener? This isn't some guy out of the blue asking me to be some sort of like affiliate. Hey, you want to be an affiliate for my, this? No, this is a guy who has listened to the show, who has listened to my voice for a long time, and he's looking to help a guy out, sending me a delicious bag of coffee from, I don't know if you've ever heard of this place. There's a state called Minnesota. It says Ember Coffee Company is Minnesota's premier small batch air roaster. The beans in your hands have been ethically sourced, that's good, and hand selected, I can read, from some of the finest coffee regions in the world. Wow. A few things also about this stuff. And this is what the hell is air roasted? To be honest, I don't actually know, but what makes air roasted coffee different? Low acid. Who wants acid? Easier on your stomach. Smooth flavor. I can attest to that. Low or no mold. Low or no mycotoxins. Well, I don't know what mycotoxins are, but I don't want them. I know what mold is. I don't want that either. So no, low acid, low mold, low mycotoxins. I mean, now it makes me worry about the coffee that I'm going to drink that isn't Ember coffee. So maybe I should just keep drinking Ember coffee. I've never done anything like this on Geek Mentality before, but I told him, look, if you really want to send me a free bag of coffee, I'll talk about it. It may not be on my Star Wars show because I'm not doing that right now, but whatever show I'm working on, when I get this coffee, gosh darn it, I'm going to mention it, and I'm mentioning it right now embercoffee.co. I'll put a link to it in the show notes if you want to check it out. Delicious.
How come the sun didn't used to shine in here?
We bought the house in the fall. This is summer. There's somebody feed the dogs.
Right.
See the kids?
It must be in the backyard.
In Amity, you say yad.
They're in the yard, not too far from the car. How's that?
Like you're from New York.
I don't know. Sounded like New England to me. Or at least it sounded like someone doing their best to do a New England accent. I could say a Boston accent, but I feel like there's different levels. Like I hear someone who lives in Boston or South Boston and their accent is much more pronounced. Like when I'm podcasting, I don't know if I almost feel like I try to talk with a little more, I don't know if it's a narrator or if I'm trying to not have the New England voice. Like I'll say, I'll go to the car and I'll pick up the jar and I'll take you to the bar. But if I was just talking to you and I was just like, I'm going to go to the car right now, like right there, boom, car. I don't say car, but I say car. It's just how it is. That's the accent. It's the way that I was brought up by those parents. And speaking of being brought up in New England, shortly after we see this moment, well, okay, so did I talk about Chrissie? I mean, that violent death, she's gone, yes. And Cassidy, he's just chilling on the beach, completely drunk, thinking, oh, you know what, hopefully we can talk tomorrow. Well, that never happens. We wake up. I love the shot, how it dissolves from the evening where, it's like the fear, not the fear, but the fright or the horror with the fact that this girl was violently taken under and then it's left in peaceful silence and nobody knows and nobody's around and nobody sees it. That silence is scary. Then it dissolves into the silence or not quite the silence, but it dissolves into the morning on Amity, where it just looks beautiful out there and you hear the radio talk, you hear the radio announcer, and then we meet for the first time Chief Martin Brody and Ellen Brody, and they right away establish the fact that they're from New York. How do you do that? It's like right away, without saying we're from New York, it's them talking about the sun's different. Like we bought this in the fall, like they're not used to this. So you can tell they're new. And he makes a joke about car and she says, you sound like you're from New York. Well, you know who doesn't sound like they're from New York? Immediately after that moment, their son, Michael, comes into the room, who also just moved to New England, who also just moved to Amity. And yet when he talks,
I got cut. I got hit by a vampire.
the most Massachusetts, New England, Boston accent, whatever it is, right there, I get hit by a vampire. I, to this day, like to say vampire like that because of Michael Brody. Fun fact, the Brody children, their name's Michael, the oldest, Sean, the youngest. In my family, Sean's the oldest and Michael is the youngest. So there's always that connection there. Now, our dad is not Martin. He wasn't the chief of police, and our mother's name isn't Ellen. But, there was always that connection that I remember being like, I can't believe it. we're just like the two brothers in Jaws who work at SeaWorld together. Look, okay, Jaws, there was a weird time in my life where you're at a certain age where the sequels were getting more attention than the original, because those are the ones that were being put out on theater. Yeah, on theater, in theater. So don't blame me for being a dumb kid. You can blame me for being a dumb adult, but don't you dare blame me for being a dumb child. So Mike Brody cuts himself on the swing set, which then right away, isn't the younger son also on the swing set towards the end, and the mother? So I guess they're not really that worried about it. Martin gets a phone call. So we meet the Brodys. He wakes up. We meet one of the sons. He immediately gets a phone call. What I love is, there's a few things I love in this. Number one, he's still getting used to the new house. He has two phones. One is, I assume, his personal phone, and one is the direct line from the police station. He picks up the wrong one. He picks up the correct one, and he's having this conversation. Like, it's just, I enjoy good writing where he's not like, a body washed up, where you're just hearing his reaction, and you understand what's being said on the other side. Oh, what usually happens? They wash up? Do they float? Like what? Like that's, oh no, keep him there. I'll be there in like 15 minutes. So you realize he's having to deal with something, doesn't quite know what it is, doesn't suspect anything, probably thinks it's some drunk college kid who just drowned. But besides that, what I love in that scene, it's just a few seconds, and you're supposed to be paying attention to Brody, which you are. But if you're not paying attention to Brody, if you're looking in the background, Ellen and Michael are having a full conversation about him hurting himself. She's cleaning him up. They're talking, because that is how real families, real people do things. Someone's doing something over here, someone's doing something over there, and like they're both having to deal with things. So it's like, I always enjoy when there is some, like a scene where there's a lot going on, and yes, you're meant to focus on one thing, but you're like, if you really pay attention, you'll realize there's all this, I almost call it choreography, of different things happening. And here it's just a very simple mother and son conversation in the background, but it feels real. They're not even in focus. It's just, I can't explain why that works for me and why I think that is so cool, but I think that's very cool. So we immediately go outside, and that's when we see young Sean on that same swing set that we're told to be careful of. And Ellen gets on the swing set with him. Martin's heading into town, driving the beautiful Amity Police Department truck, which is later, an homage is given to that in Stranger Things, because Hopper's truck is very reminiscent of that. I don't know if Ellen ever got her cup back, but she's like, be careful. He's like, in this town, like it's already a setup to this community. This town is so small, so close knit, so quiet, that almost feels like he's in semi-retirement, which makes me wonder, why is he in Amity? Why did he leave New York? He talks about it later in the movie, but I don't think there's ever a specific reason given in the movie. I don't remember if there's a reason given in the book. Now, the other day I was talking to my friend, same friend, that he's also on Fine Movies, Fine Spirits with me. Same friend, granddad, same friend with the pond, same friend that was on the ocean with my brother. I was talking to him the other day about what? About Jaws. And he mentions that immediately at the beginning, Michael runs off by himself and goes swimming. He's only like 11 years old, and he goes off swimming. And he's like, did you go swimming alone when you were 11 years old? And I thought, I don't know if I did. Now, because we'd go to the beach and we'd go with my grandparents, and I feel like my grandmother would come down and sit in the sand or stand in the sand while we went swimming. I think once we hit the teenage years, not so much. But maybe at this age, the age that Michael is, I would definitely say yes. Still at this point, that we would still be supervised. But Ellen's right there. I mean, the water's right there. It's not like she's completely keeping her eyes off of him. At the same time, I think it is a subtle little message of how how non-worried, how unworried, how just relaxed they are about swimming, about going swimming, going in the ocean. You'd never think of any issue like this. Of course, Michael can go swimming. He's got his mask. He's got his snorkel. So he's not just putting his knees in. He's going swimming, and no problem, because what's the worst that could happen in this town? So Brody drives into town, and we get a little establishing shot of just how quaint and quiet and wonderful this beach community is. And we get a shot of the famous Amity Island billboard, which becomes even more famous, or infamous, which means more than famous. If you look it up, it does. Later in the movie, it is a girl on a raft having the time of her life in the ocean. Amity Island welcomes you with a sun that I've never noticed before. Definitely a hand-drawn sun. He's got cool sunglasses on. It almost looks like he should have 2 arms with scoops of raisins, but he doesn't. And it says the 50th Annual Regatta, July 4th to the 10th. I feel like, something bigger should have been made of that. Am I crazy? Or is that never really talked about? I know we're going to be ready for the 4th of July. We will be open. The beaches will be open. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. But it's not like we have all these out-of-towners coming for the 50th Annual Regatta. I guess the regatta happens every year, so it's not like, it's that out of place. But it is the 50th Annual. They've been doing the regatta since 1925, if my math serves me right. Unless this is considered 1974 when they filmed it. I don't know. It's been going all the way back to the 20s. But it's going to be a little different this year. They just don't know it yet.
Nobody saw her go into the water? Somebody could have. I was sort of passed out.
You mean she ran out on you?
No, sir. She must have drowned. Look, I reported to you, didn't I?
You live here?
No, Hartford. I go to Trinity. My folks live in Greenwich.
Your folks were born here, right?
Yeah, I'm an islander. They moved off when my dad retired.
Boom. Right there. They moved off when my dad retired. That's when the 4 minutes of this segment come to an end. We meet Cassidy, who seems like he's had a real rough life. Oh, we're in Hartford. Oh, we go to Greenwich. Oh, this, that. We moved here. We moved off when my dad... I'm glad he didn't say dad. I'm not a big fan when people tell other people about their parents, but call them mom or dad. I like saying it because I think it sounds funny. Oh, I just spoke to mother, or I just spoke to dad. But it's not like it's their title to everyone else. So when they're like, yeah, I just spoke to mom. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're not brother and sister. It's not my mom. Or I just spoke to dad. Nope. Throw that "my" in there, and you're fine with me. So this guy is just talking about how, we moved off when my dad retired. That's when it ends. But one thing that I noticed is he doesn't seem all that worried. Like, it looks like Brody's going through her bag. He found some stuff that she threw down when she went into the ocean to be devoured. And this guy with his sweater tied around his waist, he doesn't look like the Dutch boy hair now. His hair looks actually a lot cooler, and I wish I had it. But he almost wants to just be done with this. He's like, look, I called, didn't I? And there's no way she didn't run out on me. No, sir. I was just too drunk. But I did call, didn't I? Like, hey, or maybe he's trying to be like, look, I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm the one who called. But to me, it almost sounds like he's like, I called. Can I go home now? Can I go back? Our maid is cooking my favorite clam chowder. I want to get back to it. Anyway, that's it. That's these 4 minutes right here. We do find out the fate of Chrissie. The fate is she was 8. Not the number 8, but the verb. She was eaten. Well, you know what? We don't know what happened. I'm trying to look at it sometimes as a way that we're not watching a movie about a shark. We don't know what we're watching. We're placed down. We don't know the title of this movie, nothing. We're sitting down. We see this woman in the ocean. Next thing you know, she's pulled under. Something got her. But what was it? I don't know. Could it have been a propeller? I don't think so. We didn't see any boats around. It wasn't Jack the Ripper. No, I think we know what it is. But watching it, well, come on. I don't. Maybe I'm being a little too naive. She was pulled under the ocean. She was eaten. She was taken, and she was not fully devoured. So that's an interesting observation, because we never find out about that next victim. Like, there's thankfully, nothing washes up. But here, well, that's for tomorrow. Right now, we don't know what's going on. We just know that Brody's on the beach. He's with this young fella who reported a girl missing, and he's meeting, I don't know, when he's on the phone, he's like, I'll meet him out on the beach. Keep him out there. I assume he's talking about this guy right here. He's the one who called. Keep him out there. I'll go meet him there. They meet someone else, but that is tomorrow's problem. Right now, all they know is a girl is missing. You and I are the ones that know that she's dead. And we get to meet the Brodys for the first time. A wonderfully quick, succinct, establishing scene to bring us into their world, to show that he's the chief, to show that they're out-of-towners, to show that this is their first season there. And it works so quickly. It's like, this movie does not waste any time. It is so like bang, 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 bang. There's no wasted moments. And yet we're still going to take a month to watch the entire thing. I hope you'll come along for the entire month too, as I will be back tomorrow talking minutes 8 to 12. But until then, until tomorrow, you can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The place you can see me the most is probably Blue Sky. You can also find our Facebook page, which is Fans Not Experts, and our YouTube channel, which is Fans Not Experts. Every episode of Jawgust will be posted to the YouTube channel, unless somehow copyright pings us for having too many clips. Just the audio. There's no, at this point, there's no video of me talking Jawgust. That might change. Who knows? We'll see. It's a long month. There's only August 2nd right here. We have a long way to go. So I hope you will follow me along for this entire month. I want to give a quick shout out again to Judah and to his family at Ember Coffee, who fueled this episode. De-licious. Thank you again. This coffee was really, really good. Oh, let me tell you the flavor he sent me. El Jefe, which tastes like milk chocolate, molasses, and nostalgia. It does taste like, wait a minute, okay, got the chocolate. Here's the molasses. Wait. I remember that taste. Nostalgia. All right, that's it. I'm done. I will see you tomorrow. But until then, the beaches are closed. I remember 2 days in a row. All right, the beaches are closed. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.